Good morning and welcome to another in the series of industry support webinars, Moment for Change. We've put this together to help your business recover from the enormous challenge that COVID-19 has presented. Today we're looking at a few of the very important touch points visitors will surface on whilst planning any trips. We want to give you real practical tips you can immediately put in place to improve your business's digital marketing. So myself and Andrew, we're doing it live today, and we'll move on to our first slide. Oh, sorry, before I do that, we want to get as many questions as possible today. In order to do that, you will see a control panel on your screen. There is an orange tab, which if it's pointed to the left, please click on it and it will move to the right, opening up the control panel. And you'll see along the control panel a questions tab. If you click on that questions, you're able to type away. So please keep them coming throughout the whole presentation. That way we can have a read of them and be prepared to answer those later on at the end of this session. So we'll do a Q&A right at the very end. And we may not get through all of the questions, and if we don't, what we're going to do, and this will save you as well, we're going to upload the presentation to VisitScotland.org, and we will also answer all of the questions that we've not got around to on a frequently asked question page linked to that presentation. So let me start. We want to talk first of all about reputation. And this is a tool, it's not reactive, it actually is a really, really important lever right now to help you with your conversions and bookings. There's a really good saying by Zig Ziglar, which is, if people like you, they will listen, but if they trust you, they will do business with you. And it is so true, and trust is such a huge thing at the moment. I mean, without doubt, there's a massive appetite for information. There's a real pent-up need to have a holiday. Everyone has been locked up and for so long, but there is a real insecurity and worry for safety. So some say right now there is a need to overstate our procedures in how we're going to keep visitors and communities safe and also welcome. So without doubt, we need to look at our reputation and try and keep our eyeballs on all of the platforms people put reviews on. That's really challenging, but at least start with the top 4. And those will be Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor, and if you use online travel agents, the likes of Booking.com and Airbnb. Now that I know is a lot to ask you to do, but think about it. What you want, and it will be gold dust, is people online saying that they have visited you, stayed with you, been on a trip with you, and have felt very safe and secure. That is so important to have that type of review going forward. So with those reviews, make sure you promote them, that you promote them on your website, put them on your confirmation templates, put them on your email signatures, put them, if you do get a good review, use them on social media, really amplify them. And of course, if you're part of any regional websites or VisitScotland.com, make sure that you have your reassurance tools in broad view. And that also includes our quality assurance scheme. It is very much of the moment. It really helps people, helps our visitors feel reassured that you're a quality business. Make sure you use that as often and where you possibly can. So other instances would be on your own business front spot. And you'll see on this image, not only Visit Scotland's assurance, but also TripAdvisor. And we've also got our, you should now be aware of the Good to Go scheme. which we've put together in partnership with Visit England, Wales and Northern Ireland. And this is a further mark of reassurance that you should utilize. You should now have had an email from us last Tuesday, which explains how you can access this, this mark. And following shortly on, Andrew will discuss it later in our presentation, how you can utilize that on VisitScotland.com as well. And finally, here are a couple of examples of businesses who are doing very well in terms of reassuring on their websites around how they will manage new visitors, how they are managing visiting during COVID-19. This second one is the Argyll Holidays, a holiday park in Argyll. Ness Walks in Inverness, another good example to go onto their website to have a look. They've done a very comprehensive page on how they are looking and dealing with their visitors when they arrive. And also Blenheim Palace do a really excellent piece of content on their website, which shows people primarily keeping you safe as their priority, how you can book, how you must book, and also how you're managing physically distant. Actually, all of this is, I suppose, what you want to do is get the tone right if possible, and humor. There is no harm in being a bit imaginative and have a bit of humor about your communications. So that's reputation. I want to sort of look at email marketing as well as a tool which you should look at. It's very much a neglected channel, but actually it remains one of Visit Scotland's primary marketing channels. And why should you use it? Here's a really good reason. Email marketing has 4 times higher conversion to booking than any other marketing channel. That's the most powerful one for me. But you can also easily personalize it, and that's what people are looking for right now, to be able to get reassurance to those who are worried about what processes, what safety you're making sure their visit will have around them. You can also give them messages about if for example, and many of our visitors have not had an easy time during COVID, and they very well have restricted salary. They may even not have worked for some time, so they might be very price sensitive. An opportunity for very specific parts of your data for you to give them perhaps an offer. And to those who don't know you, that you give them some information to inspire them. So email gives that opportunity to really personalize. Another really good reason for collecting data and making sure that you're engaging with your customers is the online travel agents. If you use them, they really protect their data. They make sure that they own the email address of their customer. You should be looking to make sure that you continue the engagement. They are your customers. You should retain that, and email marketing is a really strong way of doing that. And finally, one of the reasons many people don't use email marketing is they don't feel they can put something that looks professional, that delivers a really strong message to their visitor. There are so many good platforms out there that will offer you functionality that is free up to a certain level. That you should be able to use that going forward. So those are 4 good examples that you might have a look to utilize. And also in terms of developing your database, some simple ways of adding to that. Your website is a really good way of capturing new email addresses and making sure that what you put on your website gives them good reason to sign up. You can also use social media. If you look here at Facebook, you can add a tab which allows you to get more subscribers. If you've got a business with Wi-Fi, it can be set up in such a way that you're capturing those people that sign on to your Wi-Fi, and you can get their email. And when events eventually comes back as a possibility, it is a very good way of collecting data. whenever we talk about collecting data, we also must be very conscious of the fact that we do it in a compliant way with GDPR. But it is not that onerous. There's some simple principles, making sure that whoever signs up is over 18. It's very easy to unsubscribe, that we make sure that the data is safely protected in the process, in a place that collects, uses, shares, and stores in a safe and known process. And finally, I want to sort of talk about some of you struggle with content, and here are some little ideas that might be able to help and support you. So, for example, the bothy in Glamis just a few weeks ago made the 4th of July Gin Dependence Day, and they put that on social media. And that's such a great thing for you if you're an accommodation business, or even another attraction or activity, that you amplify that. You show people that there's something to do in the area, and not only can they stay, but there actually is plenty to do when they arrive. So really good content. The Crieff Hydro did a really smart piece of marketing using email. They did some research of their database, asking them what are the important things for them coming out of lockdown, and their database came back and said they really liked the location of the Crieff Hydro family of hotels. They really wanted to be out in the open air and doing some things like walking and cycling. And they responded to that by showing on their email the 4 or 5 really great walks and around their properties. They amplified the fact that they were rural and in the countryside with loads of space, opportunities to go out safely and enjoy fresh air. I mentioned already that it sometimes might be necessary to offer people, your regular customers, a little bit of an incentive to come back as early as possible. So again, a special offer makes sense to give to a narrow part of your database, knowing their sensitivity. But there are also other things that you can use for content. The Year of Coast and Waters has now been extended into 2021. There's a toolkit on VisitScotland.org that you can utilize. We've created a really nice piece of content called Sketching Scotland, which allows people to, or actually it works with that, being locked in. What are the things you will do? You'll do a jigsaw, maybe even doing a bit of drawing. This tray coaches people through drawing on paper, or in fact on a tablet, some of the iconic images that are in Scotland. So sending that to your customer in email is a really, really nice piece of inspiration. And finally, we offer our businesses access to our digital media library. Again, it's on VisitScotland.org. So some really good content there for you to use going forward. Now let's talk about social media as a channel for you to utilize. We've done already a couple of sessions on social media, so I'm not going to spend a vast amount of time on it. But what is fair to say is that we did a piece of diary research back in, it was 2017, 2018, where we asked people what are the things that they do in planning their holidays. Now, things will have changed, but the basics will still fundamentally be the same. And the learnings we got from that is that a visitor in planning travel will spend minutes, hours, days, cumulatively researching their holidays. They will do that on hundreds, if not thousands of interactions on websites, on social media. And they are constantly accumulating ideas. So it's simmering away, good ideas, bad ideas that they'll put away, things that they will look at, is this possible? Is this going to fit with what we will do as a couple? And it's an ongoing process. And we've called this a soup. It simmers away the holiday ideas. And in a lot of instances, it's consumed passively through cultural media, and social media is such a strong way of inserting yourself in the thinking of a visitor prior to when they are coming to travel to Scotland. And one of the statements we know from Instagram is that globally, nearly 1 million accounts on Instagram search for travel related hashtags every week. So we need to be on all of the channels, or as many of the channels as we possibly can. But we need to get the very best out of that. So the tips that I would suggest to you is tailor for each channel. It's so easy to think I have a product to sell and put it out on every channel with a call to action to book, rather than thinking of what type of person is on this particular channel and what will interest them. It sounds a little bit like semantics, but is so important. How often do we see the same message on so many different, on the same message on all of the channels of different social platforms that we utilize? So tailor your posts. A great saying is content is king. We use this a lot in Visit Scotland, but our social media manager has tweaked that to say content is king, but engagement is queen. And we all know who's in charge of the house. So that's about understanding how, when we post, how much engagement, shares, likes, etc. that we can get. And that's the real metric you need to be looking at. So find out what works, tweak it, check to see if it's the things that make it work well as the imagery or video or use of emoji, and keep using those. Find out the time that most of your audiences are on, because that's when you should post, just a little bit before that, and that ensures you get the most engagement. So what's changed in lockdown that you need to be aware of, and as we get ready to come to recover? So it is so important that your tone is right. I think it's great to have messages of hope, of welcome, concern for your community. Remember that social media reaches out across all of the world, and it's different parts of the world are in different stages of recovery. So do be careful that you're not over assuming where everyone is at this point in time. The other great thing that you should be aware of is being consistent. I know it's been really difficult to post a lot on social media over the last while, but even if you post once a week, post once a week every week. There is one thing, the algorithms that social media platforms use is they love consistency. So post as consistently as possible, and then ramp it up as your business gets closer to opening. And of course, it is a time of huge change. The way visitors are interested or will consume on social media will change. The only way you will understand that is to learn, to look at what others are doing, to look at your insights on your social platforms and see what is working and adopt and change as much as is possible. So in summary, all channels are different. Get to know your audience and who you're talking to. Consider your tone of voice. Is it appropriate during this time? Be creative. A little example I showed you earlier on with the teddy bears in Paris, and try new things. Take inspiration from other brands. Analysis is your friend. Go into your insights, understand the times, the engagement levels, and try and tweak and really maximize those ones that are worked for you. And please keep posting. Here's a couple of examples of what I think are really good social posts. The first one is about getting ready to go out to your area that you live in, thinking about going on holidays. So it's keeping in people's minds, letting them know that Argyll has some beautiful things to do. And then it's a bit more specific in terms of when will we start traveling again, and putting across the message, please stay well and look after one another. A nice empathetic message. It's got safety and security in it. And then again, a messaging around the sort of imagery that Scotland has. So it doesn't try and convert it, but it's very much about keeping front of mind with our visitors. So I'll now hand over to Andrew, who will need to change presenter, and we will have a couple more topics to cover off.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Craig, and I'm the Industry Development Manager for Digital for Visit Scotland, and I'd like to take you through a few hopefully helpful hints and tips on search engine optimization, some things you can perhaps do in conjunction with your web designer, as well as some advice around online bookings and making your business more discoverable. So let's get started with search engine optimization. Some of you may find the concept, I suppose, of search engine optimization to be a tad daunting and may wish to leave it up to your website developers. But it's a good idea for everyone running a business to have a general idea of what search engine optimization, or SEO for short, is all about. It's all about increasing the number and quality of visitors to your website from search engine results pages without using paid advertising. So the question you might ask then is, why invest the time and effort? Why should I invest the time and effort into SEO? Well, organic search results, that's those that are non-paid, generally appear more credible to searchers, and they receive substantially more clicks than paid advertisements. And I suppose that optimizing your site will help you to deliver better information to search engines, so that your content, Patrick's just been going over a lot of the content that you can use on social media, but your website content can be properly indexed and displayed within the search results. So I suppose you might then ask, what can we do about it? Let's look at 5 things. I've thought of 5 hopefully things that aren't too technical, areas that aren't too technical that you might want to consider. The first of those around website security. Then perhaps what about the terms that people are searching for? The images that appear on your website, what images, what impact do they have on SEO? Is the content on your website accessible in all device types, and is it accessible in an easy manner? Is it quick to get at? And then finally, the main search engine, Google itself. How can I make sure that my profile there is appealing and as attractive to potential guests and visitors as possible? So the first thing that you can all check is your website security. Is it on HTTPS like this one here? It's for Jacobite Cruises, Loch Ness, which is good. That means it's secure. Or is it on HTTP? And you'll see a little message, especially on something like Google Chrome, you'll see a little message that tells you whether it's secure or not. It's really important because it's said that Google is likely to take website security or non-security into account when it comes to ranking. So that's something that if you're not on a secure website, you should consider moving to HTTPS and speak to your web designer, web developer about this. Consider moving to that as soon as possible. A non-secure site is especially bad news in light of the coronavirus crisis that we've had. It's expected that there will be a significant shift, and I'll come to this in just a moment, for all types of tourism businesses, a significant shift towards booking online. And any degree of website insecurity is likely to have a negative impact on the experience of the visitor, and I suppose conversely on the booking rates or conversion rates themselves too. Now, it's really important to try and find out what keywords, words and phrases that visitors are entering into a search engine when they're researching their holiday to Scotland. especially any keywords that might be related to your business. And on the left-hand side, I think this is a very good adage from Google itself. When Google crawls a page, or when Google looks at your website, it should see the page the same way an average user does. Bear that thought in mind when it comes to making any changes to your website, whether it's content or whether it's the keywords that you've got embedded in your website. Now, I've included on the right-hand side some tools. These slides, I should say, these slides will all be shared afterwards in the form that the presentation is being recorded, so you'll be able to access it at a later stage, and then we'll have a look at these tools as and when required. But I've included these details of these tools to help you find keywords that might be related or might help your business. Each of these tools comes with helpful research guides to give you some insights as to how to choose specific keywords for your website. And once you've carried out some keyword research, try to find a natural way to use relevant keywords on your website. Here's a few things that you can do, perhaps in conjunction or set up in conjunction with your web designer. You can create unique and accurate page titles. These appear to a user, a web browser, at the top of your browser, at the top of the browser when you're viewing a particular web page, and as the title in the search results pages. I'll give you an example of what that looks like. So you can see there the title tag for Crieff Hydro is Crieff Hydro Hotel, Perthshire, Scotland's leading hotel leisure resort. Keep these titles accurate and concise. Include your primary keyword and make the title no longer than 70 characters, including spaces. And below that, we have the meta description tag, and it shows up within the title, underneath the title tag on the search results page, for example, on Google. Major tip here would be to sell your content, make it sound exciting, and be clear that it's what the user or the searcher is looking for. Again, include your primary keyword or keywords at this point, and you've got up to 160 characters, including spaces here. So you can see the meta description for Crieff Hydro is Scotland's leading spa hotel. I'll just use my little highlighter. Here we go. Scotland's leading spa hotel, much to do with indoor activities, etc., etc. So 160 characters there to get that correct. And then again, your website address and any links that you have on your website. Another little tip is they should be as logical and readable as possible, and they should take visitors to the page they expect to reach. So when I click on crieffhydro.com/special offers, I expect to be taken to a page about special offers and have content on that page. So if I go to a page with special offers on your website and there are no special offers there, I'm going to be disappointed in your website. So keep that in mind. And then finally, think of terms or phrases that visitors might be using in light of the reopening that we're looking at on both July the 3rd and July the 15th. Think about reopening, safety, peace, quiet, perhaps the word getaway. A couple of good examples on this next slide, both containing key information about reopening keywords and booking keywords, as well as prominent what we call to action buttons around making a reservation. So you'll see those, book your cabin law break there, as well as information about coronavirus at the top. And then book online, as well as the reopening date right there. So they've both got reopening dates mentioned as the 3rd of July. This one's the 3rd of July for owners and the 10th of July for regular holiday makers. So make sure your website has that key information on it, and I'll come to a few more examples later on. From Visit Scotland's perspective, this slide is very detailed, but it gives you a snapshot, I suppose, of some, certainly not all, of the keywords that we focus on, or we're focusing on just now, based on some of the keyword research we've carried out. Feel free, as I say, we're recording this presentation, so you'll be able to look at this slide again in more detail later on. Feel free to use some of these keywords or align them to your own business, perhaps on your website or on blog posts that you're doing. Feel free to use them as you see fit. And let's have a think about some of the images that appear in your website. We want to make sure that you're giving them clear file names, and that the content is that the image is relevant to the content of the page. Sorry, images should have alt text if possible, and use keywords within the alt text. That means when you move your mouse over the image, the description appears, the alt text appears. So you've got the bottlenose dolphins in the Murray Firth. Try and add captions. I should have actually used perhaps something more appropriate to safe reopening, but something here that would be nice, and it's very appropriate for post-COVID bookings. Quiet walks by the impressive cliffs. You might actually want to put images down of the arrival station or the arrival point for your business, just to reassure guests and visitors that you're taking their safety seriously when they arrive. This can be quite difficult because you always want to work and ensure you have professional looking images on your website, but in terms of the speed of loading of your website, you want to ensure that your file sizes of those images are as small as possible whilst keeping them looking as professional as possible. This means that your website will load a bit quicker. This is really important for people that are using mobile devices to view your website. There's a couple of options there to help you reduce image file sizes. About mobiles and mobile devices, and you need to make sure that your website and the functionality of your website works on all device types. And the point I was making about image sizes is especially relevant to mobile devices. You can run two types of tests, two Google tests, to help you make sure that your website functions as well as possible. The first of these, if you've not yet done so, I would encourage you to do so after this webinar, is to run a Google mobile friendly test. Just search in Google for mobile friendly test and you'll see it. Website mobile friendliness is a search engine optimization ranking factor. And then the second one is one on page speed insights. That's basically how quickly does your website load and how can you make it quicker. The slower your website loads, the more likely people will be to leave, especially on a mobile device, or leave immediately or leave very quickly. Both of those tools will give you very useful insights into possible ways to improve your website performance. And then finally, we'll look on this section on SEO. And this isn't technically SEO itself, but as the Google is, as we all know, the most powerful search engine, and making sure your business profile there is up to date and contains as much information as possible is seriously important. So check how your business is listed on Google. Have you claimed and verified your Google My Business listing? Have you given as much information as possible? And the knowledge graph, you see the knowledge graph here on the left hand side is for, this one is for a hotel in Perth. Are you displaying availability and booking options on Google through, if you're using an online booking system? Both accommodation and non-accommodation businesses can do this. And as Patrick mentioned, respond to reviews, both good and bad. It lets Google see that you're an active business. And one final point around reopening post-lockdown on either July the 3rd or July the 15th. If you've set your business up as temporarily closed on Google, around about now is probably a good time to remove that temporarily closed sign so that it says you're open now. So I mentioned the possibility of being able to display your business's availability, whether that's room availability or accommodation availability, or whether it's availability of tickets for an attraction or a tour. You can do that through Google. And I want to just talk about how all of us now should be working with online booking systems. A question I want to ask just now is, what can be invisible? Well, the answer to that is your business. Your business can be invisible if you've not using some kind of online booking functionality. I've got a figure there of 60%. I should probably change that to 80%. 60% is the estimated percentage of consumers worldwide who are booking travel online, but actually, according to ABTA, the 80% of UK customers are now booking holidays online, and we would expect that over the forthcoming weeks and months, as people start rebooking holidays and rebooking experiences, that the vast majority, as close to 100% as probably is likely, will be booking every aspect of their holiday or their trip online. And I would like to ask you all, have you adapted your business to changes in technology, to changes in booking behaviour, and to customer priorities that have arisen as a result of COVID? Here's a few examples. There's loads and loads and loads of options out there of booking systems, but you should all have as I said, you should all have an online booking system. COVID-19 has made the use of online booking systems a necessity for all tourism businesses. At the moment, Visit Scotland would estimate that around 50 to 60% of accommodation businesses in Scotland would use an online booking system to take reservations, and far fewer, probably around 20 to 30% of non-accommodation businesses, that would be tours, visitor attractions, activity providers, restaurants as well, use an online booking system. So especially important for you all to consider signing up to one as soon as possible. We had a webinar a few weeks ago where we looked at the necessity of online bookings, and we had a few of that was for experiences. We had a few of the booking, in fact, all of the 4 booking systems for experiences mentioned there were on that webinar. It's available to view again if you haven't yet seen it. It's on visitscotland.org. So they'll help you from the perspective of capacity control, making visitors aware of any terms and conditions that you have. For example, restrictions around visitors based on geography, if that's implemented by the Scottish Government, any one-way systems that you might have in place at your venue, your cancellation policy. They'll enable you to carry out contactless payments and ticketing, and they'll help you manage your staff more effectively, ensuring that both staff and customers feel safer because they'll have less face-to-face interactions. So it's not just one final point. This is not just an availability calendar. You want guests to make and visitors to make an online transaction, i.e. they should be able to make a purchase from start to finish, check when your product is available, and then make the reservation. A couple of examples here. These are for experiences. We've got, I thought this one was excellent. It's not in Scotland, but it's the Chocolatarium, I think it's called, or the Swiss Chocolate Adventure in Switzerland. Gives information about what you can expect when you arrive, and then an option to book the ticket now. Same with Crieff Golf Club. They give you a warning about what you can expect. Currently no clubhouse or toilet facilities available, and then you can book your tee-off time thereafter. And then for accommodation, we have Crieff Hydro with a health and hygiene promise at the top to give visitors reassurance, as well as a book now option here on the right-hand side. This final option, perhaps not quite as good in terms of being able to view the text, but the actual content that they have there is excellent, and the fact that they have a book now option again in the top right-hand side after they've given visitors, I suppose, a safety checklist of what they can expect at the business is excellent. That's for a guest house in Fort William. Those are some good examples of online booking combined with information about the safety procedures that you'll have in place. One other thing you might consider just now is using your online booking system to distribute your venue or your accommodations availability to the wider world using, Patrick's mentioned them earlier, online travel management. It's called this channel management, and all of the main online booking systems have some form of channel management functionality, i.e. you can farm your availability out to these very, very popular online travel agents, which will increase your discoverability. I'm not a massive fan of that word, but it will make it easier for potential guests and visitors to find your business. Think of these online travel agents as advertising spaces that you only pay for if you receive business from them. You can spend a lot of money on Google AdWords or email marketing campaigns, but they might only bring lookers, not necessarily buyers. And as much as online travel agents will charge you commission, you'll only pay that commission if you get a guaranteed booking, and they have loyal customers who are often ready to book and will use them instead of carrying out multiple searches online. Here's a little example of a business that's using online travel agents. This is Glasgow Music City Tours, and the owner, Jonathan, uses his online booking system to farm his availability onto both Get Your Guide and onto TripAdvisor. So he's now discoverable in so many more locations than just his own website. So that's certainly something to consider. You can also, if you're an accommodation business, you can also display, if you're using one of our integrated partners, you can display your availability on VisitScotland.com too. The other thing that Patrick mentioned earlier on about VisitScotland.com is that you're now able to display a good to go, we're good to go logo on your Visit Scotland web listing. And it's a self-accreditation process, as he mentioned earlier on. There's the link if you want to go through that self-accreditation process. And we'll be in touch with you imminently, I think it's Monday next week, on how you can ensure that that good to go logo appears on your Visit Scotland web listing, and how you can highlight the dates or times when your business is reopening for future visitors. So that concludes all that I've got to say, all we've got to say just now, all the presentation section of this webinar. Before we move on to the Q&A section, Patrick is going to run through a few questions that he'd like to ask of you. Patrick.
Yeah, hi. Just what I wanted to do, what we want to offer you attendees on this webinar, there was nearly 200 of you signed up. Want you to offer you the opportunity to access a mini review delivered by Visit Scotland by the relationship managers. And what they will look at is pretty much what we've covered here today, but how well your digital footprint are for each of those platforms and how ready you are for recovery. But first, I want to ask you a couple of questions just to sort of check your engagement with Visit Scotland before we give you an option to sign up for one of those. Andrew, if you could.
Yep.
So we just want to know, have you taken advantage of the free listing on VisitScotland.com? Answer yes or no, fairly simple. We'll give a few minutes for people to do that.
Yep.
And our second question. Can you move that on, Andrew?
Patrick, yep. I'll close that just now. Second question coming up. There we are.
Yep. So is your business part of the Visit Scotland Quality Assurance Grading Scheme? A yes or no? This doesn't preclude you from getting a digital review, but it's really useful for us to understand where your business is at in terms of thinking of quality and reassurance.
And then the final questions, Patrick, you mentioned, yeah?
Yeah. So if you would like the review, if you say yes or no, and what will happen is one of our team will be in contact with you to arrange a time which would suit you to get feedback on your digital footprint. So if you could say yes, no,
one of the options there, Patrick, is not applicable. If you're not a tourism business, then obviously a digital reviews is from Visit Scotland isn't
relevant. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Great.
Thank you very much, everybody.
We'll now move into our question and answer session. A few questions have come in, which is great, and we'll look to answer those. You still have time to fire some questions into us as we're responding to the other questions. So one of the first questions that came into us, I'm just looking for it, came from Kathleen Gell. I hope I got your pronunciation right, Kathleen. And you ask, how can I best build social media reach from a standing start? That's a pretty huge question, but I'll sort of give you some basic tips. I don't know what type of business you're in, Kathleen, what your product is like, whether it's best suited for, for example, Instagram, which is very visual, whether you want to look at Pinterest, whether you want to look at Facebook. However, what I would say is if you're starting off and you want to reach as many people as possible, Facebook is by far the biggest. So it's always a really good starting point. So setting up a business page on Facebook, it's fairly easy to follow that. And then it's about sort of how do you get people to engage with you? And it's you have to think of it very much about like a simple conversation. So how would you start people to like your business? So probably the starting point is talking to your friends and getting them to follow and like you, then engaging with businesses locally that you know who might complement your own business to get them to like and follow you. And then there's the other simple things, which is reflected in how you would how you engage with businesses on things other than social media. So your website, add a widget which would allow you to, the Facebook widget is easily installed. Facebook gives you that functionality added to your website. So that allows people to click on your Facebook and make sure you've got some content in there. Just start off in that very broad way of describing what your business is about, use imagery, use video if you can to describe your area, describe what you do, describe your uniqueness. Yes, so, and also utilize other things like your email, utilize things like your business card if you use those, or if you've got anything that's liveried with your business name, make sure you've got the Facebook or the other social media icons on there to amplify it. So that's some simple stuff. Also do a quick Google, ask exactly the same question and you'll get some other tips as well. Hope that helps you out, Kathleen. Some other ones, just to, this is another one I'll answer. Andrew's got a few more to come. So can you advise how to get Facebook tab that I spoke about, which is the way to get subscribers, some more subscribers to your database? Probably the simplest thing I would say to you is that Facebook gives you an app that many people don't know about. It's called the Facebook Pages Manager. Download that on Google Play or whichever app access you've got to get. It's free. And it really allows you to manage your Facebook on mobile, on the go, and easily there's an intuitive bit in that allows you to switch the call to action button. It's generally under the photograph. You click down, it gives you 2 or 3 options. There's a book now, there is a collect further subscribers, I can't think of the other options, but you can chop and change what it is you want your Facebook page to deliver, and that's one that you can get people to do. So it gets people on your Facebook page to consider to give their email address to add to your data, so you can talk to them in a different, more personalized way, rather than just on your news feed for social media. Hope that was helpful for you, Carol. And Andrew, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah. So there's been a few questions around online booking. A few of you have asked about online booking via Google, which I mentioned earlier on. You need to check with the online booking system that you use as to whether or not that's feasible. For accommodation businesses, the Google option is, or displaying your availability, is called Google Hotel Ads. It is called Hotel Ads, but it is for all accommodation types. For non-accommodation, if you're in a visitor attraction or a tour or an activity provider, it's called Reserve with Google. And you need to, as I say, you need to check with your own online booking system to see if it is integrated with either of these options. And if it is, you'll then be able to display your live availability and pricing, and they'll be able to book via an option, a call to action button on Google. I should also say, if you're using if you're an accommodation business and you're using OTAs, the OTAs will also display their pricing and their live availability on your behalf on Google as well. So, for example, if you're using Booking.com and you have a B&B, you'll notice that when you search for your B&B on Google, you'll see that the live availability and pricing pulling through from Booking.com. You'll compete with your own business there. Somebody's also asked a question around online booking systems. If you have the capability to use a booking system with your website provider, such as Wix, is it still recommended to use a third-party booking system? What's the difference? Well, I would say that it's entirely up to you, but you should carry a little bit of investigation into these other booking systems. They'll generally give you far more functionality than a system such as that combines it with a website like Wix. Some of the online booking systems actually offer website creation functionality themselves as well. So you've mentioned, somebody else has mentioned Free to Book, and somebody's mentioned Evivo. Both of those offer website creation functionality as part of the package that they offer, so that you can set up an online booking system, but if need be, you can also set up a website with them as well. But again, it's for you to do investigation. With a system such as Wix, you'll not get as much functionality around analysis of bookings, around perhaps channel management functionality that I mentioned earlier on. And if you want to have staff management as well, you can assign a rota, or you can set rotas up within the online booking system so that staff know when they're supposed to be working. Not a system like Wix was unlikely to be able to offer that. Hope that answers your question.
Andrew, I'll give you a chance to catch breath. There's a couple of more questions coming up that's pertinent to you, but meanwhile, I'll answer a couple as well. Victoria, you asked, do we know if there will be a limit of the number of households able to stay in one property? I suppose this is relevant, particularly for self-catering, where there's multiple, where if larger properties might have multiple households. I think, Victoria, it's probably the one question we haven't managed to get an answer from, and we're actively seeking answer for it. So, as I said at the very start, we'll look to answer questions that we weren't able to give the fullest of answers to on VisitScotland.org. So we will follow up on that, give you a clearer answer going forward. I think I had one other one. Yeah. There was one question which from Stephen Compton, which surprises me a little, and again we'll follow up. Stephen, you're saying that even though you've got good to go, that you're not allowed to open until the local authority have checked. Good to go is going to be checked on a spot check basis rather than every single person or every single business. Any bed and breakfast that has set things up properly and can say they've done things in such a way that they can get certificated by the good to go system should be in a position to open on the 15th of July. You're a bed and breakfast. So your indication that the local authority needs to check is a bit of a surprise, but I'll get my colleagues locally to double check that. I'm unaware of that as a challenge.
Patrick, there's a question I'll take around reopening for when it's essentially a free attraction. The question is, we'll not be able to open the main attraction at the moment, but plan to open the grounds with added attractions. It would be free, but with a donation box. Is there any purpose in an online booking system for what will essentially be a local UK audience? I have a question then for you, is how many visitors do you expect, and how are you going to manage physical distancing with a significant number of visitors? So even if you're a free attraction, how do you cope with potentially unlimited numbers of visitors arriving? So I think my answer would be yes, there is certainly an opportunity to use an online booking system there, so that even if they're not having to pay for their ticket, they can still choose, and you can manage when visitors arrive and manage the number and the flow of visitors around your particular business, in this case a visitor attraction. That would be the response to that one. Somebody else asked a question pertaining to...
Just to cut in on that, there's also the fact that we've been speaking to all of the platforms who provide booking solutions, and pretty much to a man, they're all saying that they will offer that service free of charge. So that's a big change in terms of what they will do. So if you've got a free product, they're prepared to give you their platform free of charge. Obviously, what they're thinking is that farther down the road, you'll maybe wrap it around another experience that's chargeable, which makes sense. And then they have an opportunity to make some revenue alongside your own increase in income.
Yeah, a donation box is also risky because it's asking people to pay with cash, which many people nowadays will be averse to paying with. So yeah, it's another risk there. As regards, there's a question on free to book. Somebody had free to book online booking for their accommodation business, but they also advertise separately on online travel agents, and they manage their own calendar on these. They asked the question, would there be an additional benefit to setting up channel management through free to book? There certainly would. There would be a cost involved in that, but it would save you a lot of time. And that's because instead of updating multiple portals and having to remember to change these anytime you get a booking, with one click on the free to book channel manager, you can update many websites in one fell swoop. So yeah, there is a benefit in using that functionality.
Okay, I think we've pretty much answered every question that's come through, but as I said, we'll follow up with any that we've failed to do. Just wanted to show that we will, as I said, follow up also on those of you who've indicated you would like that bespoke service of a review of your own business in terms of its digital footprint. If there's anything else that you would like some further answers to, please use the business.advice@visitscotland.com to ask any questions. Our visitscotland.org Moment for Change page has some really good information, and also under the digital skills tab, there's some really step-by-step instruction in terms of how you can use some of some of the channels out there. So worthwhile paying a visit to that. Well, thank you for your time today. I do hope you've had good value from this. Looking at the questions and the answers, I think we've squeezed some good knowledge out to everybody, and feel free to get in contact, as I said. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
Thank you.